Welcome to Business Talk, presented in collaboration with the University of Rio Grande and the Ohio State University South Centers, from the heart of southeastern Ohio at the University of Rio Grande TV studio. Our goals are simple: promote the University of Rio Grande and the Ohio State University South Centers, as well as advocate local small business and their support organizations. More importantly, promote southeastern Ohio as a wonderful place to live, explore, and learn. There are many different ways you can find us. The University of Rio Grande Cable Access Channel 17, live online at blogtalkradio.com, and on YouTube if you are unable to catch our show live. Introducing our co-hosts, Jason Winters, Mike Thompson, Patrick Dengel. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome to our special edition of Business Talk. I'm Patrick Dengel, in which we have a unique format today. First of all, agriculture in the state of Ohio is one of the major industries throughout the state as well as the surrounding states. Agriculture, to most individuals, think that it's farming or raising cattle, that it is directly involved in food production of some sort. But that's not necessarily the case. As a matter of fact, the Ohio State University has recognized the need for at least 50,000 individuals to be involved in one form or fashion of agriculture again. In agriculture, we speak of different industries that are tailored to meeting the needs of the farming industry, whether to make them more financially stable, whether to help them in growing properties, transportation, a variety of different areas. And today we have two special guests. We have Kearny Hambrick, who is with the Brick Insurance Group, the nationwide insurance affiliate, along with Kathy Bellinger. They are both representatives of the Brick Insurance Company, and they're going to be talking about some of the aspects being involved with the agricultural end. So I first want to welcome both Kearny and Kathy to our broadcast.
Thank you, Patrick.
As a matter of fact, before we talk about some of the issues that are faced with our farming community, we'll start with you, Kearny. You're the president of the Brick Insurance Company, affiliated with Nationwide. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born and raised in southeastern Ohio. I love it here, and I'm one of those crazy people that love insurance. I know that's a weird thing, but it's the only thing I've ever done. And I got into insurance because I really felt passionate about helping people, and there is no feeling better in the world than helping somebody put their life back together after something has happened. A house has burned down, a loved one has passed away, or just a fender bender. Sometimes your car's your baby. So just being able to help somebody put their life back together is a tremendous feeling.
You know, Kearny, that is very, very true. Many times we don't look for mishaps. We don't look for situations where, oh my gosh, something happened with those things. And it's great to have insurance, because insurance does fulfill our needs.
It does.
But there's many different kinds of insurance that is available, many different kinds of insurance one may need or one may not need.
Correct.
And so in the agricultural end, I didn't know all the different things that you have to offer. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit with Kathy. Kathy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've always worked in customer service, helping people. So when I have a banking background, and we did a lot of agricultural lending, and so this was kind of a great fit for me. It was my way to, again, help people in their, whatever they need.
Very good, very good. Hey, and so to tell the listening audience how I came across Kearny and Kathy, we were at a HOPS conference not too long ago. And at the HOPS conference, we had a variety of different vendors that were supporting those individuals wanting to get into the hops conference. And lo and behold, as I walked past their table, I had the opportunity to say, "So what do you two do?" And it was interesting. They started discussing a little bit about their insurance programs and a variety of different things. Well, we know that when we run across an insurance person, we feel that their whole goal is to sell us insurance. And I'll be quite frank with you, I was very, very pleased to find out that Kearny and Kathy were educators. They were telling some of the reasons why we should or why we should not have certain kinds of agricultural programs. And so I'm very pleased that they were willing to come on the show and educate us a little bit more. So let's talk a little bit about that hops conference. What were you hoping to help those farmers be involved with?
One of the things that we find with a lot of farmers that are doing specialty crops or a specialty product, they don't really understand what their liability needs are. They may have some specialized equipment that just doesn't really fit on a standard farm policy. So we did a lot of educating at the hops conference around things like how do you make sure that when you're growing something on a trellis that's pretty high, that's a lot different than growing something in the ground.
Yeah, that's true.
You've got a little bit of a different issue in how you're going to cover that. The biggest thing with some of the farming like hops is it's something that eventually we're going to drink it. Hopefully it's going to be made into beer most of the time. And that brings up a whole different set of issues in how that product is, or that crop is going to be processed and how it's going to get to the end user and some of the liabilities that you have along the way.
That's very, very true. Listening to some of the different presenters at the hops conference, I did not realize that in growing hops, you need a great deal of amount of water.
Yes.
You need those trellises. You need a variety of different things involved with the soil. And for the listening audience, microbrewery in the state of Ohio is really becoming an important value-added business.
It certainly is. It's one of the fastest growing things in Ohio, and it's a lot of fun. There are a lot of fun people in the industry, and one of the things that we like about what we do with Nationwide is we can really cover any aspect of that. We can take it from the person planting the crop all the way through to the microbrewer. Every step of the way, we've got a product that fits for that industry.
I understand. And it's really interesting, all the different integral steps. But you started out in Nationwide. Is that correct?
I did. I've been with Nationwide for over 25 years. It's a great company, has a strong background in the agricultural community. Of course, we were started by a group of farmers who thought that their insurance premiums were a little too high and that maybe they could do a better job protecting themselves. And out of that group of farmers grew the national company that you see today. So we've never really lost that agricultural heritage and feeling, and that's really where our agency chose to specialize, because it is such a huge part of Ohio's economy and the economy of the surrounding states.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. And with Nationwide, are they not an Ohio-based company?
We are based in Columbus, Ohio,
Yes.
right down the street from Ohio State.
Oh, very good. I thought they were from Columbus. Ohio has a lot of unique businesses. And I know that we were talking about insurance, and your background also, Kathy, is in the financial end of it. And as you're working there, you have seen some situations on the financial end with the farming that if they're not careful,
They can have some big problems if they're not covered the way that they need to be covered. Farm safety, just being.
Well, speaking of farm safety, I think you brought in a little video.
Yeah, Nationwide, one of the things that we're really passionate about is farm safety. It takes quite a bit more time sometimes for, if there's an accident, for an ambulance to get to a farm. Sometimes they can't find it. So we want to be able to prevent those things before they happen. We just finished up with our grain bin safety program, where we talk with local fire departments, and we teach them how to respond if there is a grain bin accident. We also work with the farmers and their employees to teach them how to prevent that accident from happening. And then we also, keep them, if something does happen, how are you going to respond? The other thing that's really important right now is farm equipment on the roads. It's that time again when the farmers are going to be on the roads, and there are some special concerns. And Nationwide is leading the way to increase awareness about the risks that are involved with, big equipment being on the roads. With just a few simple little safety tips, it makes it so much safer for the farmers, but for everyone else as well. And so we brought a little clip today to show you guys, just to keep that in mind.
And through the magic of Mike,
There's been a lot of mileage put on my back. Shoot, I've been running along Bob's farm ever since the rubber hit the rural road. You see, me and Bob, we work together. When he has farm work to do, I help him get the show on the road. We have to keep our eyes peeled for everyone that comes our way. Some days are worse than others, but no matter what, we have to stay focused. Hey, slow down. I want you to get there in one piece. I get worn down worrying about having enough room for everyone. It takes all of us to look out for hazards in these parts. Oh dear. Bob's got to be careful driving out here. At the end of the day, everyone's job is to take the high road and keep me safe. Now this will remind Bob to do a safety check before he goes anywhere. The road to success is paved with caution. You don't want any accidents to slow him down. All of us have to work together for this rural community. Respect the road.
At Nationwide, we're committed to rural road safety. Together, we can make a difference.
Hello, Rhoda.
You going my way?
Time to take the road less traveled. Respect the road.
so how true? We live in Southern Ohio, and I've had the fortunate experience of running into 3 deer.
Oh my.
And they come out of, they're there. And it is very fortunate, that we do have that insurance that covers. At one time, they used to call them dead animal or dumb animal insurance. But, on a farm, things happen so quickly
Right.
that you do not really understand. I was speaking with one individual that he had a small caterpillar and he was moving things around, etc. His shirt got caught on one of the levers, and it was through the grace of God, good fortune, whatever you want to call it, that he was not crushed. And those things are extremely important to understand, about the
Right.
road safety or farm safety or things of that nature.
We speak a lot about safety, and as you mentioned earlier, we do a lot of educating. That's really what we feel is our mission. Like you said, we're not just here to sell you a product. We're here to make sure that you have the right coverage and the right products for yourself. But we do a lot of educating around safety because we are passionate about it. We're speaking to a group of farmers Saturday morning about workplace safety. It's something that everybody has to be aware of, and you need to make sure that everybody that is on your location, whether that's a business, a farm, or just in your home, that they
that's
understand, where things are. Where's a fire extinguisher if you would need one? Where, where's your emergency exit? Where are your, how do you take care of something if something would happen? So we do a lot around those kind of topics.
And Nationwide is, really proud to have partnerships with some great people like the Ohio Farm Bureau or the West Virginia Farm Bureau. They also take a lot of pride in working with those who are leading the way with, conservation efforts or protecting our natural resources with organizations like the National Wild Turkey Federation or Bassmasters. So those kind of partnerships really help get the word out about safety or the issues that particular, whatever it is, that they can figure out what they need and we can get out there and help them learn about that.
In reading some of your information, you were talking about beekeepers. Mm-hmm. And I know that we have a number of different farmers and a number of different interested individuals that raise bees. And
we were just at the Tri-County Beekeepers Trade Show a couple weeks ago, and it was really interesting. Beekeeping is a big, another growing, specialty kind of field. Some people do it to pollinate crops. Some people do it to raise honey to sell. They make bee products. There's soaps. There's, lip balms. You name it. There's food. There's all kinds of things out there. But what we were finding is that the beekeepers were having trouble, one, finding liability coverage, and then there were a lot of those that didn't realize that they even needed it. So again, it went back to the education piece of, this is why you need this is what it will do for you.
So if I have several beehives, why would I need beekeepers insurance?
Well, the biggest thing is, of course, if someone would get stung, you want to make sure that you've got liability coverage for those people that, if the bees swarm, they get out and they're, someone is stung.
That makes sense.
You want to make sure that you've got coverage that can take care of that. And a lot of the beekeepers that we were finding and talking to over the last couple of weeks just don't have it or didn't realize the need for it or weren't able to find it, so they're just kind of hiding that under the rug.
hoping nothing happens.
And hoping nothing happens is not a good strategy.
I understand. I know that on a farm you have a variety of different areas that safety becomes an important issue. And something that I did not realize was grain bin safety. What do you mean by grain bin safety?
Well, a grain bin is a place where a lot of accidents on farms occur.
Oh, really?
Yes, believe it or not. And it's from, I will tell you, I've never been inside a grain bin, but from those that I've talked to that do this on a regular basis, they feel that some of the safety equipment is very bulky and it's hard to use, and they're not fond of using it. And it is a place where there is a lot of inherent danger. So again, like Kathy said, we have a program that we've put together that helps train people on what to do if there is an accident around the grain bin, someone being trapped in the grain bin or the grain collapsing on them, that kind of thing, and training the fire departments to respond. And one of the biggest problems with farm safety is just the response time. It takes a lot longer to get out to a farm because of the rural roads or the nature of curvy roads here in southeastern Ohio. It just takes longer, and so there's a lot more probability of those accidents being much more serious than because of the wait time that you might have and someone getting there to help you.
That's interesting. I know on the response time, we do have volunteer fire departments out into the rural area, which also means that it takes a few minutes for everyone to assemble at the fire station, and then moving or going to the place.
Right.
And fortunately, we are a GPS society, which allows us to plug into our phone the locations. And sometimes the GPS works well, and sometimes
in southern Ohio, that's pretty.
Sometimes you have no connection.
Doesn't always work.
That is true. I know in southern Ohio, our electronic gizmos, for instance, our internet services, our GPS, our iPhones, and different things of that nature we are dependent upon the infrastructure.
Yes.
And on that infrastructure, et cetera, it can be difficult for us.
Yes.
And so let's going back to the farm. We also have mechanized machinery that are able to be programmed that can do certain kinds of things. Is that insurance kind of? Is that possible to get insurance on those?
It is, and it's one of the things that's funny. Kathy and I were talking about this on the way down, how much farming has changed from one generation to the next.
Yeah.
And how much the equipment has changed. You know, there's some things that are always going to be the same, but technology is playing a bigger part in farming these days, and that does bring up a lot of different concerns that, you know, if the farm policy that you've had is the same farm policy you've had from generations ago, and you just update it as you buy things, you may not have the coverage for the equipment that you truly need.
Yeah, and some of that equipment costs a lot
It
of
does.
money. A lot of money.
It does, and you want to make sure that if it breaks down or if the technology is compromised in some way, that you've got coverage to replace that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm quite sure that in your travels and your discussions and your educational programs, you have seen a lot of husband and wife farms.
Yes.
And you know, there's always a question: what happens if? I know that in our nation, usually the men die first. And it was interesting. Someone asked Jeff Foxworthy, "Why is that?" And he basically said, "Because we want to." But that I don't know. But oftentimes we as individuals don't necessarily think that we're going to die soon.
True.
And unfortunately for some of us, that does happen. And consequently, some farms, some individuals, some institutions, some families aren't prepared for that. And so you want to talk a little bit about succession planning and women involved in the agriculture. You have 3 minutes, by the way.
Well, succession planning is a huge concern of ours for the farming community, because we do have so many multi-generational farms and farms that are passed down from one family member to the next. And if you don't have a good solid plan in place, you end up with a huge tax problem that you weren't really thinking about. So a lot of what the work that we do, again, around educating people, is making sure that they have a plan in place that is going to take them in the direction that they want that farm to go. And a lot of times you've got things where you may have 2 or 3 children that in the farming family, but only one of them wants to farm and the other 2 are living out of state. Well, how do you equitably split this farm up without having to literally split the farm up? And there are ways to do that. And we have a great group of tax attorneys and accountants that help us put a really good, comprehensive, solid plan together to help farmers move the farm from one generation to the next.
And I think that's very, very important. You know, no one wants to really think about death or the fact that you'll no longer be involved in that farming. But this is something that we have seen in the counseling end, in the educational fields, is, boy, we wish they had planned a little bit better.
I have never talked to anybody who said, wow, I regret doing that plan.
Yeah.
It's always, wow, we're glad that we
Yeah.
had something together and we knew what we were going to do, and when the time came, we were ready. So that's a big piece of what we do. I'll let Kathy talk a little bit about women in farming.
Yes.
Well, one of the trends, if you will, is we are seeing a lot more women farmers. They're running the business, they own the business, they do the day-to-day everything. And the thing that's really fun for us is as young girls are looking for things to what do you want to do when you grow up type of thing. It's nice that they see these great women in agriculture role models and can say, wow, that would be something that I would really be interested in or could learn from them. And so it's not per se the traditional role. People think, more of maybe men as farmers, but everything's changing, and it's kind
Yeah.
of fun and exciting to watch.
And there are many different positions that are available. And again, in the agricultural industry, it's either direct or indirect.
Right.
And you're sort of in between. You're a little bit direct, a little
Yeah.
bit indirect,
Yeah.
et cetera, in helping. Hey, we're speaking with Kathy Bellinger. She's an associate with the Brick Insurance. And then we're also talking with the president, Kearny, Hambrick. They are both with the Brick Insurance Group, which is affiliated with Nationwide Insurance. We have information down below on the screen that helps the listening audience to contact either Kearny or Kathy. I want to thank both of you for being involved with helping us to get the word out about the services that many businesses have, and I thank both of you for coming on the show.
We
Thanks.
appreciate the
Yep.
opportunity.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm Patrick, and I want to thank Mike behind the scenes. He's making us look good, and in regards to the audience, thank you for listening.